So today we're just going to do a basic overview of the CorelDRAW X8. So if you're working in a different version, it might be, most of the tools are going to be there. It just might be a little bit different of a layout. So if you see something different, just shoot me a question and I can show you how to find that on your current version. All right. So the first thing we always want to do when we're working with Corel, as a new user, I would always recommend updating how quickly this auto saves, because when you're working with Corel, the program's not perfect. It does crash. So when you have a lot of if you're working on a lot of different designs, you have a lot of different tabs open, you could overwork Corel, and when that happens, it just crashes. So there is an autosave, a backup feature. So I always recommend making that as the lowest it can go, which I believe is 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and check out under Layout. We'll go to Page Setup. So the first thing it's going to take you to is the page setup. You can also, you'll see on the left-hand side, you'll see Workspace. So we're going to go ahead and click that tab, and then you'll see all this drop down as well. All right. So underneath Workspace, you'll see Save. So this is where we'll need to edit this. So yeah, 5 minutes is the shortest time. So I recommend always putting it on 5, just in case, something does crash. Hopefully, whatever the most recent save it captured, you won't have to go too far back and edit your design. So right here, you'll see always back up to. There's a temporary folder, or you can tell it exactly where to save this. So if you choose a file on your desktop, or if you have a place for designs, you can go ahead and choose that folder here. All right, so you just click OK. I'm just going to do it temporary folder. So I'm going to leave it like that. So, all right, and then everything else should remain the same. All right, so I'm going to pull this over a little bit. So when we first came into this page, it brought us to our page size. So this is another thing that you might want to set up, just so whatever your settings are. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you're happy with, you can just choose those. So you'll see this letter size is always going to be the standard size when you start a page. It'll be 8.5 inches by 11 inches tall. So, sometimes when we're working with designs, most of our designs will be in 12 by 12. So that's usually what I like to set mine to. So we'll do 12 by 12 and then just go ahead and hit OK. So then you'll see your page is now 12 by 12. You know that by up here. You'll see 12 by 12 too. So the page size doesn't really matter when we're actually designing, but once we get to the export part of our design, a lot of times these designs need to be inside of our square. So that's why you can set this up however you want. But again, we have a button on the wizard now as well. So if our design is a little bit bigger than our square, we go ahead and highlight it and click this one button on the wizard at the top right. And then it will automatically make our page go larger than our design, so it fits in there perfect, and you won't have any problems exporting. All right. So does anyone have any questions about editing or saving, setting up your save settings or your page settings? All right, I think we're all good. So on the wizard, or in Corel with the wizard, you're going to see a standard toolbar on your left. That's the Corel toolbar. And then you'll see one up here with our TRW logo and another toolbar here. So this is actually the TRW toolbar. So a lot of these features on here we pulled that we use a lot with designing, we've already uploaded here. So all these settings up here can be found in different parts or areas in Corel as well, but we just made it one easy shortcut tab for you up here as well. All right. So we'll go ahead and start on the Corel toolbar on the left-hand side. The top one is going to be your pointer. So most of the time you'll stay with the pick tool. If we're working with a lot of design or stones, so let's go ahead and just stone this box out real quick. do a hatch fill, add stones, and we'll make them yellow. Alright, so now you can see all of our stones here. We'll clear our paths. So right now we have all these yellow stones, and we'll change them just so we can see them a little bit easier. So when we're working with something like this, and we just want to grab a few selected stones, and in our pick tool, we can only kind of draw like rectangles or squares to grab things. However, if we hold this down and go to our freehand pick tool, now I can just grab selected stones that I want. I can make any shape or size, and it will just grab the stones that I selected. So the freehand tool comes in handy when you're trying to grab just certain stones, or if you're trying to make a different pattern. It will just select any stones you select rather than highlighting the entire design. So then I can just change the colors. So you can see how the freehand tool really helps with just grabbing select stones. Okay, so to go back, I just hover over and go back to my pick tool. Now I can highlight my entire design and delete. All right, so the next one is the shape tool. The only real tool we use too much in here is just the top, the shape. We don't use too many of these when we're designing. And the shape tool comes in handy. You know, say you want a square, but you just want these edges rounded instead. Well, with the shape tool, I just simply click once. It'll put these black boxes on my edges, and then I can slowly just pull these away, and you'll see how it shapes the corners. So does anyone have any questions about the shape tool or the pick? Now, if you guys want to see anything over or have any questions about any of these tools I'm going over, you know, just throw them in the question area, and I'll definitely answer those. You know, when you ask questions like that, a lot of people are sometimes thinking the same thing. So, you know, don't be afraid to ask any questions. This is a really basic overview. So again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. So the next one is going to be the crop. Now, you're only really going to use the crop tool if someone sends you a design and you just want a certain part of that design. That's when we can use the crop tool. So let's just draw a little box, make it blue, and we'll draw another box inside of it, make that green. So with the crop tool, you know, say this is our actual image and I don't want any of the stuff around it. I can take my crop tool and then draw a box around it. If I draw it too big, I can just shrink it around my image. And then it will just crop out my square or whatever image I'm looking for. All right. So the next tool is going to be the magnifying glass. It's just a zoom. If I click it, it's going to zoom in. All right. If I right click, it will zoom out. All right. But if you're using if your mouse that you're using has a scroll in between the left and right click, you can zoom in just by scrolling up and then zoom out by scrolling back. Okay. The next is the freehand tool. Now, a lot of these are going to be your drawing tools. The most common one is the B-spline. And if you look at these symbols on the left-hand side, you'll actually see a few of these are in the TRW toolbar. So again, these are the most common tools we'll use with the drawing. The B-spline being the most popular. This is a great tracing tool. So if you have a certain design that you want, or a figure that you want traced, you can go ahead and use the B-spline, and every time I click, it will leave those boxes that it leaves behind are called nodes, and I can make any shape I want. Every click I make is going to leave a node, and then I can connect them, and then I have a shape. All right, so tracing certain designs is great with the B-spline, and again, you'll see these shortcuts up here. Most of the other tools you're not going to use too much, but we do have the 3-point curve where you can draw a line across, and when I let go, I can add a shape however I want. Next we have the artistic media tool. Again, these ones you're not going to use probably too much when you're designing, but you'll see up here this window will pop up and you'll see all the different tools you have and shapes. If we go to the different options, you'll see that there's images, all different strokes that you can choose from. There's even objects. But again, this doesn't really help too much with our type of designing. We're not going to use these tools too much, but they are available in Corel. So the next couple tools are the actual shapes, the rectangle, ellipse, and the polygon. So again, these pretty much are self-explanatory. They're rectangles. This one's a circle, and this one actually has more shapes involved. So with the rectangle, with this tool you can draw perfect rectangles. If I hold Control while I'm drawing this rectangle box, it will make it a perfect square. Okay, and same with the ellipse tool. I can draw any type of circle. However, if I wanted a perfect circle, I'll just hold Control and I can draw a perfect circle. So does anyone have any questions about the basic shapes? All right, keep on moving. So under the polygon tool, now this one might be a little bit different if you're working in a older version. However, you'll see the star, basic shapes, arrow shapes, flowchart, banner, and callout. Now these all have a lot of different options in them. So we'll start with the star. Now this works the same way. All these shapes work the same way. If you hold Control, it's going to draw a perfect star every time. If I let go of Control, I can make it skinny, I can make it fat. If I want a perfect one, it's just Control. Okay. Now when I let go, you'll see all these options at the top. Points or sides. So maybe you don't want a 5-pointed star, we want a 8. I can just click 8, and now we have a different shape like that. All right. And again, here we'll increase or decrease the outer boundary of the star. So if you want a different look, you can adjust it this way as well. All right. So not all the shapes have these special features. However, the star is a pretty cool one to play around with, and it's just, it's a really easy way to add on to a design without really spending too much on too much time working on it. So underneath here, again, the basic shapes you'll use quite a bit too. The most common one is going to be the heart. So when I go to basic shapes, you'll see this little, whatever the most recent shape you used will show up at the top. So the last one I used was the triangle, so that's why that one's already pre-selected. However, if I just hit heart, now you'll see the heart pop up right there. So this is how you get to all your basic shapes. So same thing, if I want to draw a heart, if I want it skinny, I won't hold Control. If I want it, any kind of shape that's not perfect, I can just hold it however I want. If I want a perfect heart, I just simply hold Control and it'll make it a perfect heart. So next we have our text tool. Now this is pretty simple. The most common mistake with the text tool is when people want to write a text, they'll hit the text tool and then they'll draw a box. And it gives you this text box. If I want to write TRW, you'll see it there. But when I'm done, now I can't really make this too much bigger unless I come in here, but I still have this text box around my design. So instead of actually drawing a box, we're going to do the same thing, but we're just going to click and just start typing. And now when I do that, you'll see it puts just a box. When I click it, it'll put a little box around my design, and now I can pull it whatever size I want, and up here I can change to any font I want. Alright, so if you have this box around your design, just delete it, click the text tool, and then instead of holding a box or creating a box, just click once, and then you can start typing. Okay. So some of these tools we're really not going to use too much. The transparency tool is nice. If you're working, you're not going to use the transparency too much with actual designs. Maybe if you're using more direct to garment or something like that, or creating, a watermark for yourself, the transparency can come in handy. When I click this, you'll see at the bottom it comes up with this bar, so you can either slide this bar over and you'll see how it starts fading, or you can just simply type whatever number you want and it'll adjust it as well. The color eyedropper tool is a nice tool to have. If you're working with some design, sometimes you'll use a color, maybe not from our palette, but you want to use find that color or use it all throughout your design. I can just simply click on this gray, and now up top you'll see selected color and then add to palette. So when I add to palette, this gray is going to pop up down here. So now I can match my heart and my star with that exact gray. Okay. The next tool we have is the interactive fill tool. Again, this one's not used too common. The reason I use this the most is on my mock-ups. So if we're using a glitter glitter vinyl, and I just can choose anyone, let's do red. This doesn't look too bad right now, but when I hit the interactive fill tool, and then click on this, you'll see this little box come up. So sometimes you'll see a box that's really large, and you'll see how this design kind of gets a little more pixelated. Doesn't really look that clean. So if you see an image like this, just know you can drag that box back in, make it very small, and now you'll see a little bit more, the pixelation will go, and you'll actually see more of that glitter look instead. So if it's too small, we can make it a little bit wider. You can rotate it, so you'll see different looks. So whatever you think looks great, you can leave it like that. And then we have our heart with the glitter fill. All right. And the last one down here is the Smart Fill tool. Now this is a very common used tool. So if I wanted half this star one color and half the star another color, well, I can just draw a line right through it. And now when I do that, I can take my fill tool, click on the top half, perfect, and you'll see fill options up here with the color. So let's just say I want my color a little bit different on the second fill, change that to a different blue, and then click on the bottom. So now I created a two-color design with that fill. Does everyone see how we did that? Does anyone have any questions about anything we've gone over on the Corel toolbar so far? All right, I think everyone's good. All right, so what I want to go over next is there's a lot of features, obviously, on the wizard. Today we're going to focus a little bit more on the plus, some of the new plus features. So we have the Mockup Creator, the advanced pricing, and we have the live template editor. All right. So has anyone used any of these new features yet? The Mockup Creator, the advanced pricing, or the live template editor? All right. So we're getting a little bit of everything. Most people seem like they haven't really gotten into the new the updates yet. So we'll go ahead and go through those. So we'll start on the Mockup Creator. Now I'm going to go to this page. I have my t-shirt already brought in here. So the great thing about the new Mockup Creator is that we're able to create color changing mockups from pretty much any type of shirt. It's going to have to make a color changing mockup though, it has to start as a white shirt. That's the only rule. However, if you don't want it to color change, you can basically make any type of mockup with this new Mockup Creator. Okay, so you'll see that there's different brightness, contrast, shadow, midtones. We have all these selections up here. So essentially these will make, if your shirt doesn't work correctly the first time, when we create this auto boundary, so this auto boundary, put this line right around our shirt, make it really easy for us. Sometimes when you do this, it doesn't pick up the entire shirt. It might not pick up some of these areas here, so instead of creating a line perfect like it did the first time, it could just grab the top of your shirt. That's all it read. So it could just read this part right here and nothing else. So the way to get it, everything selected, is we'll add or take away darkness, contrast, shadow, or midtones to our shirt. So let's go ahead and add some, we'll make this a little bit darker, add a little shadow to this, and you'll see this blue box come around your design. Don't worry about that. It's just part of the process. When we create the mockup, it will actually go away. So now I'll create the auto boundary again, and you'll see that it did a perfect mockup again. So sometimes, and it's nice too, adding shadow will add a little bit, make your mockups look a little bit more real. So that's another way you can add those as well. You know, you don't always have to use these top options, but if you want to add a little shadow or brightness to your design, you now have the option. Okay, so I'll go ahead and delete this and proceed with our color changing mockup. So once we add our boundary, all we do is highlight our shirt in our original picture and hit cut out color change mockup. So just like that, it's going to open a new page. And now when I grab this image, you'll see that it just has the shirt selected. And when I go to change a color, it will change it to whatever color I choose. All right. So does anyone have any questions about how to create a color changing mockup? I think we're good. So from here, we can add this to our mockup images. So when we come here, we'll go to quick product. You'll see product, product type, and you'll see the preloaded ones, women's, men, youth, accessories, and then a custom tab. So when I go to custom, right now I have a few already in here, but I don't have my blue Gildan tee or my color changing Gildan tee, so I need to add that in there. So I go back to my Mockup Creator, and we have to create a design placement. We have to tell it where we want our placement. So I'm going to go ahead and click that button, and you'll see this red box come up. So we'll just fit on our shirt. Wherever we want our design to show up, we just leave that box there. And then all we have to do is come over to our right-hand side, go to a custom. If you want to overwrite any design, you can just select it and then save over it. If we want to add a new, you just find an open area and go to just click on that, and then we can change the name. So for this one, we can do basic Gildan, and I can add CC just to know that it's color changing. I highlight my design and save custom product. All right, it's just going to run through it, save it. Now when I go to my mockup tab and I go to custom, you'll see basic Gildan color changing shirt as one of the options, and you'll see a little mockup for it right there. All right, super easy, and now you're able to select any t-shirt style you want and add it to your mockup collection. Alright, so the next area we're going to show you is the new live template editor. So we have new designs created that are live templates. So this feature is only going to work with our live templates. Previous designs, magic templates, stuff like that, they're not going to work the same. These are actually still in text form. So that's how we're able to use these as live templates. So our live template editor is right here. You can see it on the left-hand side as well. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So right here is going to be our open and close TRW wizard dockers. When I click that, you'll see three options: monogram, magic patterns, and live template editor. So we're going to go ahead with the live template editor. This is already opened on my right hand side. So then I have my design, my live template design. All I need to do is click find text. And bam, you'll see 2018, Brain River, Pirates, and Bradenton, Florida all show up on our right hand side. So when we're working with sports teams, these templates are going to make everything really easy for you. So obviously we want to change the year to 2017. I do that, and you can see when I'm typing, it's a live update on my design. I hit enter, and it goes down to my next text. So, this school is actually Lakewood Ranch. Boom. Hit enter, go to Pirates. They're actually the Mustangs. Let's change that to Mustang, and hit enter, and they're actually in Sarasota, Florida. So I hit that, enter. So just like that, we completely changed this design and made it specific for another team. And again, these aren't their colors, so let's go ahead and choose our new colors. So we'll do a green. Instead, everything that's black, I'm going to hit select all, and I'll just change that to a green. And then all the red, we'll select all that and make it black. All right. So just like that, we're able to change our design. Again, anything else we want edited, if we want all this black in the center, we're able to edit that as well still. So once we have our design, one of the last new feature is the advanced pricing calculator. So since I chose EasyWeed colors, I can come to my calculator, my little money sign right here, left click, and it's going to give you my pricing information. So this design is 10 inches wide, almost 9 inches tall. I'm using $1.20 worth of black EasyWeed, $1.25 worth of green EasyWeed. My total vinyl costs are $2.45. All right, so that's definitely great information, but we went ahead and went a step farther. So with the advanced calculator, it's actually going to allow you to type in more of how much time you spent on it, how much you're paying someone to create this design for you, pretty much all your costs involved with this design. So instead of left clicking, I'm going to right click for advanced pricing. So this little assistant's going to pop up, and we're just going to go ahead and fill this out. So you can see that it's filled out previously with my last pricing. So let's go ahead and change this up. So with these live templates, there's really not a big setup time or design fee, but they don't know that, of course. So with a design like this, we'll just charge them $10 when it's really only going to take you a few seconds to edit and set up. The hourly rate of the employee handling our order, maybe this is all going to be specific for you. Let's just say we're paying them $12. And how many minutes did it take them to set up the design? And and that goes for everything. Take the order, set up the design, and pretty much get it ready to cut. So everything in total, we'll say 30 minutes. What is the retail price for the finished product? How much are we selling this design for? Retail, it's going to be $25. So on some designs, the next question is, what discount are you providing the customer? So sometimes, if it's a team, if they're getting 20 shirts, 25 shirts, we might give them a little bit of a break. So let's just keep it around 15%. And right here is our next level tee. So we know, we'll stick with the Gildan. We did a Gildan, basic tee. And our cost on that was $2.50. All right, so now we're in the production. We're going to have the same employee completing the design, so it'll stay at 12. And this is how many minutes did it take to produce the product. So to cut the setup, or to send it, cut it, weed it, and then place it on a shirt, everything took about 20 minutes. All right, and the total quantity. So again, up here, the discount price, you know, they ordered 25 shirts, so we gave them 50% off. So we just enter that information and go ahead and hit price. All right. So on the left-hand side now, you'll see the dimensions, the EasyWeed price, how much it costs to create this design, the production cost, and then again down here it will have your bulk discount price, the total order price, and the profits including materials and labor. So this just really sets everything apart with the new advanced pricing. You're really not going to find another software that gives you all this information. And again, everything can be changed. So if I don't really like, you know, how something looks in here, you know, actually a different employee is making this where she's not getting paid or he's not getting paid as much. So let's just change this to $10 instead. So everything else is going to stay the same, except the hourly rates are going to go down to 10. And now I need my new pricing. All right, so you'll see the material, the profit goes up a little bit. And now we have this information on our right-hand side that we need to fill out for either our personal records, or we can actually send this to or print this for the customer as well. So you can fill this out according to your order number. So we'll just do 1, 2, 3. Customer name, order date, we'll do today, 2/10/17. Due date, we're going to make it for next Wednesday, so 2/15/17. Our customer phone number, their email, if you want to add an address, you can. Display name, so we can do Mustang Pride shirt. Blank size is a large, and color is white. Sales tax here is 6.5. Employee that quoted was me. Completion date was that same day, the 10th. And additional notes. So here you can really do anything. All right, so just a simple note like that. They need a phone call when this is done so they can come pick it up. We can add that in there. So our description is going to be the same area as that on our mockup tab. So down here you'll see description. So you can go and add all your information here. I don't have anything added in mine right now, so you'll see logo selected. I don't have a logo updated, so it won't give me one, but we can still keep it selected. The image background, we're going to just change that to white because our image is green and black, so it'll look good on a white background. Hit OK. And I want this for internal and customer use, so I just hit those. We don't have any stones in this design, so we're going to leave that blank. And we'll just hit create printable pricing breakdown. All right, so it's going to show up no logo found. That's okay, and it's going to do it again for the customer copy. So we just hit OK again. So let me move this over real quick. So now you'll see down here internal and customer pricing. So it's going to give you 2 printable sheets to work with. So this, obviously the customer pricing is for the customer. You don't want to give the internal pricing to the customer, and I'll show you why in a second. So when we zoom in here, you'll see that the retail price was $25. However, they're getting 25 shirts, so we give them a bulk discount of 15%. Their final price per shirt is $21.25. It has their order price, their setup and design fee, their tax, and their total price for shot. All right. Now, if we want to, we can put checks or X's in any of these areas. Has a nice place for them to sign, and any additional information, contact customer when completed, shows up right there. So you get a nice look at what the design is going to be. It has their information and contact right here, their due date, everything you need to know right on that piece of paper for you. Right? And again, everything can be edited in here. So with that live template editor, again, it's meant for live templates, but check this out. So now I hit find text. It came up with all these different information right here. So let's just say I got the customer name wrong, or I need to send this to a different customer, but it's this exact same order. I can hit Sean and change that to Michael, just like that. All right, so that live template editor, anything that's the text, it will pick up. So this comes in really, handy in situations like this as well. Maybe we just got the email wrong. I can just come in here, and it's actually info@therhinestoneworld2.com, and boom, just changed just like that. So does anyone have any questions about the new mockup or the advanced pricing or the live templates? All right, so I think we're good. So again, we made an internal and a customer pricing. So the internal is going to look almost exactly the same. It's going to have the notes, the breakdown, but now it's going to tell us the employee breakdown, how long it took them to produce, the employee wages involved, the labor and material costs involved, and then all the information about their price per shirt, the discount they're getting. So again, this is a retail. So next time if they want to come in and they just need 2 shirts or 1 shirt, well, they're going to pay the retail price. And you can show them you got the 15% because you ordered 25. When you order just 1 shirt, it's stuck at the 25, the retail price. And then over here on your left-hand side, you'll see the same information, but it will show your charges for the material. So on the customer, it's not going to show them how much you paid because they don't want to see that, and you don't want them to know that. So on internal, it will give you all the information you need to know along with their quote, your material cost, and pretty much everything all the money or all the costs that you're going to have involved with this design is going to show it and break it down for you real nice. So those are the 3 big features that we've added to the 3 Plus. So does anyone have any questions about the Mockup Creator, advanced pricing, or how to use the live templates? Yep, so someone asked if this can be changed at this point, and it can be. However, once you create, once we have this design, we can just right-click this again. All of our information is going to be saved. So if we need to change any of this, we can. Maybe, sometimes when we say if you order 30 or more, we waive the setup and design fee. So you can change that to 0, hit price, but you're still going to have to go through and re-enter in all this information on the right. You click internal customer, change your image, and then you can hit create printable pricing breakdown, and it will give you the new forms. Alrighty. Well, you guys have been great today. Thank you for coming to the webinar. Again, if you have any additional questions, go ahead and give us a call at 941-755-1696 or shoot us an email at info@therhinestoneworld.com. Again, this was Sean. Thank you guys so much and have a great day.